and today we are going to go over a pretty lengthy video that will take you to step 5 of your project. So where we left off is you have your type layer over your beautiful portrait, and you are going to make an inversion on this type layer. So right here, make sure your topmost layer is selected. You're going to go up here to this little icon. It's called invert. You're going to click on that, and you're going to get this inversion right here and a mask right here. And then you are going to hit Command Option G, and that is going to clip your adjustment just to the topmost layer here. Then you are going to go ahead and turn your visibility off for this layer and your type layer. And now we are going to select your background portrait, and we are going to make a selection of just the face. So with that layer selected, you are going to go up here to the quick selection tool, little ice cream, click on that, and you are going to make sure that your brush size is big enough. Remember, your brackets, your left and right brackets, are to make your brush bigger or smaller. So I'm going to click and click and click and keep clicking until I have exactly what I want selected. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be good, but in order to make it perfect, we have to go up here to this button. It's called Select and Mask. So we are going to click on that, and mine automatically has a red background, and I really like this look because it shows me exactly where the boundary is between my selection and the background. If you don't have that red, you can go over here to Properties, drop-down menu, and the selection is Overlay. Now I am going to choose my paintbrush, brush tool, or you can hit B for brush, and I'm going to zoom in on Chloe's face, and I'm going to start painting in negative the areas that I don't want to be selected. Okay, so you can see that my Photoshop made an over selection, and now I'm just making it better. So if for some reason you're not getting the red, that's probably because you don't have the minus sign selected. So make sure the subtract from selection tool is selected, and then go ahead and paint exactly the selection that you want. And I wish I could speed this up because sometimes it does take a long time. Now, keep in mind that this part of the project is very important. So take your time and do a really good job on your selection, because bad photoshopping most of the time comes from a bad selection. When something looks like a small child has cut it out with scissors and it was copy and pasted like a magazine collage, that is because of a problem with this part of the project right here, which is the selection. Now, if you have hair in your subject, which you probably do, you can use this magical tool called the Refine Edge Brush Tool, and it will really smartly detect the edge if your edge has a lot of differences in it that hair can create sometimes. So only for the hair. Don't use this for like the skin. It doesn't work that well, but it works great for hair. See, it's sort of reading it, picking it up. If you have fur, works good for fur. Okay, getting closer. Now I'm going to go back to my brush because, again, there's the skin. And I'm going to add to my selection and just make sure that it's nice and smooth. So if you want to be super picky, look at how close you can zoom in there. Very close. So I notice some of her eyelid is missing. So take your time, do a great job with your selection. And when you are done, you can click OK on the bottom right, and that will turn your selection into a full selection and kind of take you back to your main project work area. So I'm just really refining the edge and making it nice and smooth because she is a child and children typically have very soft skin, and I don't want it to look jagged or rough at all. Okay. So you can see this whole area really needs to be worked in down here. I'm just going to go over it with the refine brush, and the reason is because it's fur and you have a lot of differences in your edge, and I think that looks really good right here. Okay, great job. Oh, I missed a tiny spot. Okay, I don't see anything else, so I'm going to say okay. And there is my selection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mask out of this. So I'm going to layer mask, reveal selection, and there you can see is my mask. Okay, so that is the edge of Chloe, and I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to turn my visibility on for these two, and I'm going to click and shift click, and then I'm going to group these, and you can control click and say group layers, group one, there we go. Then you are going to take this mask and bring it up here. So how we do that is you are going to option click and drag that up there. Again, that's option click and drag it up to your top layer. Okay, now click on your little caret down to get to all the different parts of this group. Then we are going to go to your type layer, and we are going to add the mask to the type layer, which I think we did already. Well, let's do it one more time. Actually, I think that'll be fine. All right, let's just keep that type layer open there. Now, we are gonna, with that type layer selected, we're gonna convert to a smart object. So remember we did that earlier. You can control click, convert to smart object. It'll think for a second. All right, and then we are going to go to filter, sharpen more, or I'm sorry, smart sharpen, to a 200% radius, amount, 1 point pixel radius, reduce noise by 40%, remove Gaussian blur, and we're gonna say okay. All right. Now we are going to, with this mask selected, hold on, let me just try to move this. Yeah. We are going to mask out areas that we see type that we don't want to be there. So you're going to hit your B for brush, and you are going to start masking out some of your type areas. Now keep in mind that you have the ability to change how your brush is really being used here. So you have the opacity at 93%. I can bring that all the way down. And you are going to just start masking out a lot of type areas on your face. So what this does is it really creates some three-dimensionality between your photo and your type layer, because what you don't want to happen is that your type layer is just sitting everywhere in your photo and you can't see the contours, which means the three-dimensional surface of your portrait. If you can see how much of a difference that makes already? If you can see some of those contours, really brings some three-dimensionality to your portrait. And so for her hair, I'm just going to mask out most of this. And keep in mind too, like the words you might want to have still present and visible. You might not want to mask out all the important words that you've typed. Okay. I'm going to mask this out because I noticed there's a shadow here, and I know shadows are my friend right now. They really bring depth to my project. I think that looks really good. And I like how it's like on her vest and shirt too. All right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate this bottom layer. So we're going to Option, drag it all the way up to the top. There we go. And we are going to do a filter, high pass filter. So that's filter, other, one more time, high pass. I'm going to move this down to like somewhere between 7 and 10 pixels. Say okay. I know that looks very strange. And then we are going to go to our blend mode, move that to overlay, and reduce our opacity to like, I don't know, it's up to you. It really just sharpens your image. So I kind of like it like that, like 53%. Okay. All right, now our last thing is we are going to add a gradient map. Now this is one of the hardest parts, so I want you to just be careful and slow down and just pause and replay this as many times as you need. So over here in your adjustments, one of the things you can do is add a gradient map. That is this gradient icon right here. So we're going to click on that. Now we are going to click in the colored gradient panel, and that will give you a little option panel. And then we are going to click on this color, double click, and in this highlighted box down here, we are going to enter the numbers 2A, 1A, 2, 1, and hit OK. Then over here, same thing. That box is going to be F, 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 A, D, D. And I'm going to say OK. And now you can see a beautiful gradient map that appears on your photo. So this is where we are going to stop for today. I have done a lot. Please let me know what you need. I will be available to walk around and just replay this video as many times as you need. All right.